This is my theory on lying. The thing about lying is people who do it are probably anxious, or sometimes they're being competitive with others when they don't want to be. Like they wake up living in a world that they're just living in, and then all of a sudden you have someone coming into their world and telling them that they're nothing, and they feel like they're treated awfully. They're basically thinking they're hopeless, and they get depressed, which causes them to feel that they're fighting for their lives. And they tend to do anything they can do to survive, because that's a human instinct, is for us to survive, because when we don't do that, we feel hopeless, causing ourselves to lie or having to defend ourselves, and we're not sometimes educated on everything. We don't know what to do, so what do? We just fight back in whatever way we can. And what society expects us to do, basically. And basically they'll ridicule you for lying as well, and that's why personally myself I don't like to be a liar. I try to be as honest as possible. But there's two kinds of liars. There's the white lies, which are lies that aren't really no one really cares about, and we can not really think about. We can look past it, basically. And then there are the black lies, the ones that people will do that are wrong, and they'll just fight their way constantly just to say that they're right, even though they are very much in the wrong. And I mean, the real way to it is, the thing is, like, even the people who are successful lie, because that's what humans do, what the animals do, really. Like, the thing I don't understand is, like, animals will do the things that religion tells us not to do, like not to steal, or the Ten Commandments, basically, if you know what the Ten Commandments are. But the animals will not follow the Ten Commandments. They will kill, they'll steal, and they'll rape, basically. So it's like, why don't animals feel things? Because, to my understanding, humans have a lot to get. I mean, is that what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Because, for example, humans, like, we live pretty much a privileged life, such as, like, we have shelter, we have food on demand. Well, they're basically hunting for food constantly. And the one thing I don't relate to with humans personally is I'm not the kind who is intrigued by food. And I find animals are so intrigued by food that they don't think about the feelings that are missing. They just know they're living and they need to live, and that's it. And that's the instinct of every living being. When it goes down to fish, whether it goes down to humans, critters, reptiles, all the above, basically. Like, I guess, like, what I see is, like, humans, like, you just gotta say free food or free coffee. They're there in a zip. I mean, not all the time. As for me, like, the person I am is, if I have leftovers, I'm portioning them for every day of the week. Like, I'm not gonna eat them all at once. Like, I can't really relate to that. I mean, the funny thing is, I know what it's like to have an eating disorder, because I took antidepressants one time, and I would just want to eat all the time, and I hated it so much, because you just get this constant irritable craving, and I don't really need it. And I always found when I didn't like to eat, and I've never been the kind who liked to eat, really. And the only time I ever ate was when I was starving. And it's weird, because it's like I'm one of the rare breeds that I just need what I need, and I'm happy. I don't need the Iron Throne, basically, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I find lying is basically a human instinct, where we just try to get what we want, and we don't really think about the other people. We just basically climb a ladder and we're pushing people off. And it's sad, because it's like, it's funny, like, when you watch game shows, or see competitions, it's about who's number one. And my thing is, for being competitive in competitions, I don't think there's any point in being competitive unless there's a score sheet. If there's no score sheet, there's no point. You should just be fair and not have to say I'm better than you or I'm worse than you. But if there's a score sheet, then there's a difference. But as for these greedy billionaires, it's like there's no score sheet. There's just a ranking. It's kind of like a high score in a video game. Like no one really cares. It's just usually the person with the three names you enter in, aka the one that's usual ass.